Hey, all you YouTubers out there. I wanted to talk a little bit about the George Zimmerman trial, or more specifically, the verdict, how he was acquitted. You know, a lot of people are up in arms about this. They should say rioting should occur, and he needs to be, killed right now, and all these terrible things, all these violent acts. Violence does not beget violence. I mean, it's not going to make it any better if you don't agree with something that the justice system has done and something that the government's done. It's not your responsibility to take the law into your own hands. And these people, these left-wing, complete, total nut jobs, are saying, oh, he's going to get his, and he's going to be a marked man, and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, really? After all the gun control stuff, after everything that you said, you want this guy to get his? Where's your tolerance then? So I look at it and I'm thinking, Trayvon Martin, yeah, okay, it's a shame a young man's life was extinguished, and it's a shame that he died in such a violent way, and we'll never really know truly the whole story, because honestly, Trayvon Martin is dead. He's dead. He'll never be able to tell us ever again. That's why when we pull our guns in self-defense and we do use them in that manner, we have to make sure that we are correct and we're judicious in every single way. Do I believe that George Zimmerman should be acquitted? Personally, I'm torn on the whole thing. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think that from the way the case went, I think he was attacked, and I think where he did have a gun, and they were on the ground together, that meant that there was a gun in play. That both people, Trayvon and George, they had the ability to get the gun. And I think George Zimmerman saw that the fact was that Trayvon was going to go for his gun, and was going for his gun, and may have even had it in his hand. I don't know. We don't know. But I think that's sort of what happened. And then George Zimmerman could not overpower this young man. He was a small man at that time. A lot of people don't realize that. George Zimmerman's put on a ton of weight during this trial. So I think he got overpowered, overcome, and this kid was beating him to death. I mean, he's beating his head into the sidewalk. I mean, it doesn't get much more brutal than that. Of course, the media doesn't talk about that. So I think he pulled his gun, shot the kid, and it killed him. And that's all there is to it. But we'll never know Trayvon's side, which is sad. I would really like to know. It's a shame that George Zimmerman, in some ways, maybe didn't have a taser with him. But would he have been able to really use that? And it's his right to carry a firearm, and to protect his home. As all these homes around them had been burglarized like crazy. So I think it was good for him to. He should have been able to carry his gun. I think he did everything he should have done. I think maybe he should have stuck inside the car when the 911 operator was like, yeah, we don't need you to really follow him. But at the same time, again, it's his neighborhood. And how often do we go on about in the gun community? I don't carry a cop because they're too heavy, or the cop's response time is so much less than a 45 ACP's time, and all that stuff. Well, you know what? Back it up. Back it up. He should have been able to get out of his car, because who knows what this kid could have done. I mean, he had been in fights earlier that day. He's known drug user. He was a known alcohol user, and he's not even 18 yet, at those times when he was doing that stuff. I mean, he has stash of marijuana that apparently, wasn't talked about all that much. So, I mean, they portrayed Zimmerman in this one light, and they really didn't want to let the pictures get out of Trayvon in his specific light. They want to show him as a young, as a little boy and all that stuff, not the grown man that he was. And I don't care how angry you are, if someone's following you, you call the police, or you turn around and you pull out your gun and you shoot them. No, okay, alright. That was a bad show. If someone's following you, though, you seriously call the police. But if they lay a hand on you, get in your personal spot, and actually lay a hand on you, that's when you react. You don't turn around just because someone's following you and jump on them. You can't do that stuff. And Trayvon did that. You just cannot do that. So in the end, I think George Zimmerman, I think he could have used maybe a non-lethal device on Trayvon, but at the same time, he had a right to have his gun with him. I just wish he would have used a taser, or I wish he would have used something else a little bit more non-lethal, and maybe we could have heard both sides of the story. But that's not the way it worked out, and George Zimmerman was totally in his rights. I'm pleased that the verdict came out the way it did. One of the reasons I am is because I feel like it should have come out that way. But also that it's not going to make gun control a bigger issue. That it's not going to make, owning a gun harder. It's not going to really do any of that stuff. It's going to be forgotten about pretty quickly, actually. So it's good for gun owners. Of course, I'm sure Trayvon's family, and like I said, my heart goes out to all those people. I'm very sorry that they lost their son and their family member. But, he was the wrong place. Shouldn't have been doing what he was doing. Shouldn't have tried to, punch a guy to death, I think one of his text messages was about another guy that he had a fight with, and he was angry because he didn't bleed enough for him. When he hit him in the face, he didn't bleed enough. So that's who you're dealing with. But anyway, I've talked about this. My honest belief is that George Zimmerman was within his legal rights. Trayvon should not have been where he was at, doing what he was doing. And I'm glad that George Zimmerman is a free man today. And he should have never been arrested in the first place. He was ruled self-defense to begin with. So, like I said, I've got a lot of liberal friends, I've got a lot of conservative friends, so I'm hearing a lot of stuff. But these are my thoughts. Let's just be thankful that not more people got killed and that somebody else did not have their life destroyed. Thank you.